Deep in northern Argentina, where sugarcane fields stretch as far as the eye can see, rises a landscape of desolation and mystery. Sugar mills, once symbols of prosperity, now lie like sleeping giants, their rusted metal structures defying time. The silence that reigns in these places is barely interrupted by the occasional creak of a beam or the whisper of the wind through the reeds. The chimneys, silent witnesses of busier times, still exhale faint threads of smoke that merge with the surrounding mist, creating a dense and oppressive atmosphere. As the sun sets, the sugarcane fields transform into a rippling sea of shadows. The mist, like a spectral cloak, creeps between the endless rows of sugarcane, blurring the boundaries between reality and the imaginary. The moon, shy and distant, barely manages to peek through the clouds, projecting a faint light that barely illuminates the landscape. It is in this setting, where reality blurs, that the locals swear they have seen something that defies all rational explanation. Suddenly, the air becomes colder and heavier. A chill runs down the spines of those who dare to venture into the night. The reed leaves rustle, as if an invisible presence were passing through them. The air becomes dense, laden with an ancient fear that paralyzes the heart. And then, as if emerging from the bowels of the earth, El Familiar appears. Also known as Sulpe-El, or Pero Familiar. This is a type of man-eating family spirit whose legend is widespread in Uruguay and the sugar mills of northwestern Argentina. In Argentina, different versions of this type of familiar spirit are described, but the most widespread one identifies it as a type of demonic creature that gives power and money to its possessor in exchange. Generally for human lives, their existence is taken for granted by the vast majority of the sugar plantation population in that region, a situation often exploited by Argentine sugar mill owners to coerce their workers. Its presence is imposing, a mass of darkness denser than the night itself. His eyes, two incandescent embers, pierce the darkness with a gaze that seems to pierce the soul. But the most terrifying thing is the sound that accompanies it, the metallic echo of a heavy chain dragging in its wake, a constant reminder of its supernatural and threatening nature. The legend of the familiar dates back to ancient times, but its origin is shrouded in mystery and secrecy. It is said that its existence is the result of a sinister pact, sealed in the shadows of history. The price of this pact, the elders whisper, is a macabre tribute that the familiar periodically exacts. On the darkest nights, when the silence is so profound it seems to absorb even the slightest sound, the unthinkable happens. A lone worker, perhaps returning late from his labors in the fields, disappears without a trace among the reeds. All that remains is the distant echo of a chain dragging, a sound that will chill the blood of anyone who hears it. The fear that El Familiar instills in the farm workers is palpable. In the huts and shacks surrounding the sugar mills, the peasants gather at nightfall, their faces marked by fear and superstition. Some hold crossed knives in the shape of a cross, a desperate gesture of protection against the dark forces lurking in the darkness. Others murmur prayers and incantations, hoping their words will be enough to keep the beast at bay. But neither prayers nor amulets seem to be enough when the familiar decides to go hunting. On the darkest nights, his figure glides through the reeds with supernatural agility. His eyes, like infernal beacons, pierce the fog, searching for his next victim. The sound of its chain marks each step, a relentless rhythm that announces its approach. The terrified workers lock themselves in their homes, praying not to be chosen in this macabre lottery. The chase of the familiar is a horror spectacle that few have witnessed and lived to tell the tale. Those who claim to have seen it describe a scene straight out of the worst nightmares. The beast, with its body of shadows and fiery eyes, roaming the fields at impossible speeds. The fog seems to part as it passes, as if even the natural elements fear its presence. And always, always the sound of the chain, a constant reminder that there is no escape. Stories about the familiar have been passed down from generation to generation, each version adding new details and horrors to the legend. Some say he's the guardian of a treasure hidden deep within the mills. Others say it's a manifestation of the greed and cruelty of the former plantation owners. Others claim its existence is divine punishment for the sins committed on these lands. But beyond the speculation and tales of old folks, the presence of El Familiar has left an indelible mark on the collective psyche of the region. His figure has become a symbol of fear, a warning about the dangers of unbridled ambition and pacts with forces we don't understand. In every unexplained disappearance, in every mysterious accident at the sugar mills, the locals see the invisible hand of the familiar. The legend has even become intertwined with recent historical events. During the dark years of the last civil-military dictatorship in Argentina, El Familiar is said to have been used as a smokescreen to cover up forced disappearances. At the Ledesma sugar mill, one of the largest and oldest in the region, authorities reportedly attributed the disappearance of workers who had actually been victims of state repression to the creature. This macabre use of the legend added an additional layer of horror to an already traumatic period for Argentine society. Despite attempts to rationalize its existence or deny its reality, El Familiar remains a living presence in the popular imagination. Every night, when darkness envelops the sugarcane fields and silence takes over the abandoned sugar mills, the inhabitants of the region can't help but look over their shoulders, alert to any sound that might announce the arrival of the beast. And for those who grew up with these stories, the Familiar is more than just a legend. He is the embodiment of their deepest fears. Tangible manifestation of the dark forces that lurk in the darkest corners of human existence. Its figure represents not only the terror of the unknown, but also a warning about the dangers of forgetting the past and the pacts that bind us to it. As the world advances and modernity attempts to banish old superstitions, El Familiar continues to lurk in the fields of northern Argentina. Its silhouette, silhouetted against the full moon from atop a hill, is a constant reminder that there are things in this world that defy rational explanation. And when its eyes, bright as embers in the night, stare directly at us, we can't help but feel that in some way, we are all part of their eternal hunt. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and click the bell. Tell me what other legends you'd like us to revive here on Dark World Whispers, Susurros del Mundo Oscuro.